Hi guys, I hope you're all having a good Sunday. Today we have quite a special video actually. Not only are we grateful for receiving the news you're about to tell you, but I also would like to personally give you guys a massive thank you for the contribution you've made to the following. A few weeks ago, I believe it was last Sunday.
It was about 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago, you and Terry, my dad, went up to London to receive a very special award, awarded to Charlotte by Cancer Research. And the award she received acknowledged basically her efforts in raising awareness and her candidness in the way she transmitted the information she was given about her cancer and her own personal journey.
Flame Hope Awards, which is a really nice, it's in glass and it's quite heavy. So we received that on Charlotte's behalf. And also we had a nice special recognition award for her. And then during the week I was looking in our local paper and I came across an article about Charlotte, which was really nice, just saying about the award that she'd won from Cancer Research UK. So we were very delighted with that.
I'll take a photo of that. The headline reads, "Posthumous Award for Brave Teenager," which I think brave is probably the appropriate word there.
Most definitely. It's a bit of a mix this time. Well, it's not, because we're going to start on her cancer journey. We've had a request from Serena T, and she asks, this is going a bit sort of backwards really, starting at the end, but just this one off. She asked, could you please could you do a video on the topic of cremation to represent the end of Charlotte's legacy? Thank you. Well, the cremation, we had the full funeral.
Yes, I think we discussed the funeral on the first video we did after Charlotte died, the first proper one we did, where we had the requisite stuff and material from the funeral, including the passage of service. The cremation was again another large part of a very large service. It was a very well attended service, and then you, myself and Dad, and
it was very quiet.
It was very, very quiet, and our priest who conducted the actual funeral service, who's a good friend of yours. Anyway, we went to a very, very beautiful place actually, and it's really odd because it's in a place of Brighton. You wouldn't guess that this small patch of greenery and tranquility exists in such a busy area, because I'd obviously never been there before, and it was very quiet and very peaceful, I think would be the right word. We went into this very small, beautiful church, and we had Nick Drake in the morning, from the morning playing, which was the song that I chose to be used at the funeral service as the introductory music. And we had the casket, which was wicker and weaved, and it was very, very beautiful, with a small amount of flowers on the top, because as Charlotte said, less is more. And we had some of Charlotte's most favoured possessions in there. And I think actually, personally, I don't know whether you agree, but as we're being candid about the topic, I think cremation is a much more enduring way of remembering someone, because although they're not physically there, you have the ashes and the place you scatter the ashes, and you can really choose that place to be that person's favourite place, a place of outstanding natural beauty, which is obviously we went to do Charlotte's, because we had Brighton on the one hand and you had all the sprawling hills of Sussex on the other, so it was really quite an amazing place to have it done.
Yeah, so I'm still obviously going there still twice a day, because as I said before, I can't function without doing that. So I should be up later on this afternoon. So Charlotte's cancer journey started in July 2013. She'd been having headaches since about the April, which we documented, and we went into hospital on the Monday night. They thought that she might actually have meningitis, so we were actually blue lighted up to the hospital on the Monday night, and she had chronic headache. But I can't remember quite what the other symptoms, but anyway, they were concerned. as the night went on, they thought, no, it's certainly not meningitis. So they were then convinced that it must be a migraine. I remember the doctor at about 4 o'clock in the morning said, have this tablet, it's wonderful, you will be cured, your migraine will go. Within half an hour, she'd promptly thrown it back up. With that, he discharged us, saying, you know, give it a few hours and then take another one. By which time we got to the Tuesday, 16th of July. I'd gone to work as normal, got a frantic phone call from Charlotte. I remember it about 1:30 in the afternoon. She said she was feeling very, very unwell. So I took her back to the hospital and we saw somebody regarding the optic nerve, and I think I have said all this before, so I'll just skim over it a little bit. So we had the optic nerve and that was obviously swollen. So they then admitted her. Anyway, she was very, very bad on the Tuesday night, so they knew that there must be a build-up of pressure, so they said that they'd do an MRI scan, which they did on the Wednesday. And the first radiographer missed something. Fortunately, there were 2 radiographers in there, because the other guy said he put it on the pole that was okay, and the other guy said, no, it looks as though there's something there. Weren't too sure, so that meant we were kept in again. And then on Thursday, that was when she had another MRI, and then at 4 o'clock in the afternoon we were told that there was something there. Charlotte, they were concerned that it might have gone on the spine, and Charlotte said, I don't think it has, and I said, no, I don't think it has either. We had another MRI scan, and in fact on the Friday we found out, yes, it had gone on the spine. Now bear in mind, they didn't know what it was, they can't tell from an MRI scan. I'm sorry, I have to look at my notes a bit because so much happened at that time, so please excuse me. So I don't want to read this word for word because this actually comes out of the book we're writing. So they then took bloods. Bloods became a huge part of Charlotte's life, of all our lives. We were having bloods continually, weekly. We had to have blood sometimes twice a week. That's another story I'll go into later on down the line, how they actually access the bloods and what they put in something in, not put something into you, that they insert something into you which makes it easier to get bloods, but I will explain that. What we found was they had these blood tests, but they couldn't find, they were looking to see if there were any cancer markers, so they're substances that are produced by cancer or by other cells in the body to response to cancer. So most markers are made up of normal cells in addition to cancer cells, and they're produced at a much higher level when cancer is present. But they could not find any markers in the cancer in her bloods. So with that, we were basically discharged, and we went home and we carried on as normal. And then on the Monday, so we're up to the 23rd of July, we then ended back at our local hospital because her headaches were getting worse, her vision was beginning to blur, which concerned us greatly. And they did look behind her eyes, but there wasn't a change. And then they found that the tumour was on the brainstem, which is inoperable where it is. It was on the left-hand side, right at the base here of the brain. So King's College said that there was no way they could biopsy that, so they needed to do another. They were looking at possibly doing a lumbar puncture to release the pressure from Charlotte's head. And we were also told that if the fluid from the spine showed nothing, then they'd do an actual biopsy on the spine to actually get one of the lesions on her spine. So we were basically, again, we left our hospital and we were then blue lighted again up to King's College Hospital, and it is very, very busy there. We were used to our local hospital, which is very small, very compact, very nice. It overlooks the seafront, very spoilt actually, and we suddenly ended up in King's College Hospital in London, which I believe employs 7,000 people. It is huge and it was buzzing. I've never seen a hospital like it. It's quite frightening actually. Everything runs really well there. MRIs are 24 hours a day. Nothing seems to sleep in that hospital, so it was full on from when we arrived. I remember this when we were blue lighted up there. We didn't take anything with us because we were told that the lumbar punch was going to happen that afternoon. We got up there at 3-4 o'clock and were promptly told that the lumbar puncture wasn't going to happen after all. Bear in mind we had no belongings with us, so we left everything in Brighton thinking we'd be going back that night. I did go absolutely ballistic because I didn't know what to do. I was beside myself. Charlotte was in pain. We didn't know what was going on other than this procedure was not going to take place. So later in the evening we were taken again into another side room and we sat on very small children's chairs because this was a sort of children's ward. It was just for brain injuries. So we were taken there and the surgeon apologised and said the reason it had been delayed was that he wanted to perform this lumbar puncture himself. They still didn't have any idea as to what type of tumour it was. Needless to say, I remember we had a very disturbed night. It was a very, very, very small room. My husband on one side on the floor, me on the other side on the floor, and Charlotte in the middle of the bed. This is going to obviously take quite a long time to go through, so for this particular one I am going to leave it there. We don't want to make our videos too long, and if people are interested obviously they'll come back and have a look at more. So on the next video, next Sunday, we'll obviously be carrying on with this story and how it evolved and what actually happened next.
Yeah, I think what we're going to be doing is, or more you on this part because you know the material that you've written down slightly better, is in no way divulging the details of your project, but following that chronology, because the book that you're writing is very, very detailed and it's incredibly interesting. So we're just kind of glazing over there just to give you a kind of timeline of the last 2.5 years following that structure. So hopefully nothing will be given away there in terms of the details of the book.
No.
It's very interesting and you'd be incredibly surprised just how many twists and turns medical care can ensue. So, yeah.
Anyway, we look forward to seeing you next Sunday. As I said, we will try and occasionally throw in a Wednesday one. Please leave, if there is stuff you'd like to know, because we do actually quite like doing the fun ones, but it's just a question of time at the moment. But I'm very, very busy at work.
Yeah, I think one of the other things is not necessarily with the trajectory we're going here and telling Charlotte's story as we said we would, is that we are quite wary that we don't want to just repeat ourselves over and over again. That's why we do really appreciate the questions, and the question about the cremation was a really interesting one, and one that I'm glad was asked because it's a very important part of that service. So those kind of questions, maybe about living with someone with cancer, less so about the cancer itself, may allow us to broaden our material a bit, because we don't want to just give you guys the same stuff over and over again, because we have a lot more to say, I think, as well. So that would be grand if you could do that. Okay, Kat says goodbye too. She's got a habit now of getting in these videos.
Very much.
She knows what's going on. Thank you for watching, guys, and I hope you have a good Sunday and the rest of your weekend, and we will see you again
next week.
Next week.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.